Topic C deals with division. Be honest with me, who cringes when they hear that they're going to be doing division? Okay. Anybody care, without being too dramatic, to share why? What gives you maybe a little bit of anxiety when we're dealing with division? Nora?
It's almost like backwards multiplication, so it's going to be confusing and you might mix up multiplication.
Okay, so you're afraid you'll mix up multiplication, division, not know what to do. Colton?
I feel like I might do times by accident.
So you might end up doing multiplication by accident? Forgetting some of your facts. Okay, I'll take 2 more. Madigan?
So basically, I'm so used to multiplication, I'm scared I'm gonna mess up.
Okay. Is it okay to mess up though? You're gonna mess up, and that's fine. And Jack?
Whenever I look at division, I think there's like
Too much numbers.
Too many numbers, it's too much for you to see. And I'm seeing Gianni nod his head in agreement. Who here can multiply? I hear us talking about we're afraid we're going to. Hands down. If you can multiply, you can divide. That's why we did our topic on multiplication first. And we're moving on to division now, okay? So this lesson today is about dividing 2 and 3 digit numbers. Now, if I just put dividing 2 and 3 digit numbers up there, who'd be freaking out right now? Saying, oh my gosh, she's getting right into it. We're starting, oh my goodness. What did I leave out though? What are we gonna be dividing by? Multiples of 10. What do we know about multiples of 10, Antec?
That they're easy to multiply or divide.
They're easy to work with. We can use a lot of mental math. So this is why I want you to think back to when we started multiplication. You eventually were able to multiply 4-digit by 3-digit numbers. Mm-hmm. If I had started out the multiplication unit with that, would we have been successful? No.
Definitely not.
What did we start with? What did we start with? Maybe 1 digit by 2 digits, 2 digit by 2 digit to get your confidence going. That is what this will do. So I need you to have an open mind when it comes to dealing with division, even if you're sitting there right now saying, oh gosh, I know I wasn't good at this last year. I'm not going to be able to do it now. You know that by the end, you will be able to do hard things. You were all able to multiply large numbers by the end of the last topic because we started out small. So we're starting with dividing by multiples of 10. 2 of the questions we're going to focus on today is, why is it helpful to estimate a quotient before you divide? And how can we represent division with a tape diagram? And I know tape diagrams are still new to a lot of us, but we're going to get ourselves more and more comfortable, okay? Yeah. I have 4 10s divided by 2 10s, and because this may be a little unfamiliar, I'll reword this one for you. This is like saying how many groups of 2 10s are in 4 10s. When you think you know the answer to that, just raise your hand for me. How many groups of 2 10s are in 4 10s? Jack L?
2.
Who agrees with Jack? We agree with Jack. Now let me ask you this. Can anybody say this equation in standard form instead? So instead of 4 10s, how could we say that? G, give it a try.
40.
You keep going. 40 divided by
Divided by 40.
equals.
2.
Are these equal?
Yep.
Do these mean the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to keep this in mind when we're working today. What about here? 8 10s divided by 2 10s. That's the same as how many groups of 2 10s are in 8 10s? Aiden? 4. Who agrees with Aiden here? We agree with Aiden. Anybody want to be brave and try to say this in standard form? 8 10s divided by 2 10s equals 4. Give it a go, Cole.
80 divided by 20 equals
4. Good. I mean, did you just divide by 20? I think when we started with this, you'd be like, oh my, I can't divide by 20. Why are you asking me to divide by 20? That's a 2-digit number. No, I can't do that. Is it that bad? No. Do you know your multiples of 20?
Yeah.
Did anybody in their head think, okay, 80 divided by 20? Did anybody go 20, 40, 60, 80? Or did we know where? Some of us did. That's fine. That's good. Right? What about here for 6 10s divided by 3 10s? We'll only do a couple more. We won't do all of them. Madigan, give it a go. How many groups of 3 10s are in 6 10s? 2. And who wants to say this in standard form? Mads?
60 divided by 30 is 2.
You just divided by 30. We're going to warm up with just a couple of fluency activities. One of the first fluency activities dealt with powers of 10, but I know with this group, we're pretty confident with our powers of 10, so I thought that I would skip ahead. There's 2 fluency activities we'll do today that will help us with the lesson we're going to do today. This first activity asks us to count by multiples of 2 and 20. Who's heard that word multiples before? Who thinks they know what it means? Antek, what do you think?
Does it kind of mean like the number times itself, kind of like 2 and 4, 6, 8, 10, 12?
What does that remind you of that you probably learned to do, I don't know, kindergarten, first grade? Counting, skip counting a little bit. So when we're finding multiples of a number, we're just kind of counting by that number. So in a second, I'm going to press play. And what we're going to do, as the numbers come up on the screen, I want you to just count by 2s. We're going to find the first 10 multiples of 2, and then I'll pause the video. And then we'll count and find the next 10 multiples of 20, okay? I'm not trying to trick you. That's really all we're doing. All right? So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. What do you think is a connection with counting by multiples of 20? Before we start looking at the multiples of 20, what do you think we might notice, Riker?
It's just skip counting by 2s, but with a 0 on there.
Okay, it's skip counting by 2s, but with a 0. Let's think about what we learned in topic A. What does that 0 mean, really, Tanish?
A 10, power of 10.
Okay, so we're getting, so what, if Riker, I understood, you're saying like the first multiple of 20 is 20. And Tanish is saying, well, that's 2 times 10. So the multiples of 20 should be 10 times greater than our multiples of 2. Let's see. And we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, and 200. Does that look like Tanish and Riker? We're looking at this problem right now going, oh yeah, I've got it. Please don't write anything yet. Okay? This says Miss Song separates 360 t-shirts into boxes. She puts 40 t-shirts into each box. So I want you to talk with your group and show me on your whiteboard how you could determine the exact number of boxes of t-shirts she has. And if you figure out one way, show me another way. All right, so what do we think?
Maybe we should like break it up and like take away like the 60 and just like break it apart and then like do the 64th and then the
I like doing long division where sometimes I multiply the numbers and then I count with my fingers, see how many times that is. I'm like, oh wait, that's divided by that many. Maybe we could try like doing 40 and like just until we get to 360. 4 times 1 is 36. Yeah, we can do that.
So what do you think would be a good expression to write on your folder?
What?
To show what's happening when you put the t-shirts in the box?
36 divided by 4 equals 9. That's right, yeah. Yeah. So that would...
The t-shirts.
Because
How many in each group?
yeah, because
So how
we
can I
know
write
the
that?
9 sets, so would it be put to like, it would be like, we could do, would it be 90 or would it still be 9?
Okay,
I think it'd still be 9.
but
Gotta be 9 because of the 9 facts.
not 30.
Remember, if you do your 9 facts, it will equal 36. Yeah. So,
And you place 40 in each box. Problem, what's being split up? The t-shirts into boxes, and there's going to be 40 t-shirts in each box. So this group got us started with their expression. Who wants to add on to this or share what your group came up with? Anthony?
So we first thought about everything and we remember that 36 times 4 equals 36. Wait,
No, say that again.
9 times 4 will equal 36.
So you saw a basic fact in here of some sort. So Anthony, how did you represent that on your folder? Do you mind if I share on the board what you did? So here's what Anthony's group group has. Did you set up? Yep, you have it like this. So I'm gonna do it just the way you have it. Anybody remember seeing anything like this? Oh, is this reminding us maybe? Okay. So thank you, Anthony's group. Does anybody else want to add another strategy they used? Tanish?
Oh, I did it like kind of, it's not the same, but I just wrote the 9 on the top.
So I'm going to show it up here because it's the same type of strategy, but I want to show the difference.
Oh, I didn't add it with a straight line. That was a
Do you think these show the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What else, Mads?
We counted by 40. We messed up the first time and realized that didn't make sense, and then we did the basic fact, and then we realized that there were actually 9 groups.
So they skip counted by 40, or they found multiples of 40. Isn't that what we started with in our fluency activity? So they started and they got an answer the first time and said, whoa, wait a minute, this does not make sense. And they were able to look and see. They then got ahead of themselves, probably because you were like, oh, I know this. Started counting by 80s, then went back to 40. So they skip counted and went 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. How does this give you the same answer though?
Because there were 9 groups.
Yeah, there's 9 groups of 40 here. So they skip counted. So Tanish, even though you did this, do you see how they used something as simple as finding multiples of 40?
Yeah.
Anybody try anything else? Yes.
We did 36 divided by 4. And we got 9. So it would have been the same answer for 30.
So 36 divided by 4. Can I add a little something to that? So, because I had a lot of people looked at it and said, oh, I know 36 divided by 4, or I know 9 times 4. Can I tell you what you really did and you may not have realized it? Here's what you did, which should look familiar. You did this. Isn't that what you did? 36 tens. Do you see the difference between 36 divided by 4? Really, this problem's asking for 36 tens divided by 4 tens, or how many groups of 4 tens are in 36 tens? How many were there? 9. Did anybody use multiplication? Anybody use multiplication and tech?
So our group, well,
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Which is 2 groups of 4.
Yeah, so it's almost like the same as 36 divided by 4. It's just adding like a 0. Because if you do 4 times 9 is 36. So then 40 times
Couple more
9
seconds.
is 2.
we did 40 times blank equals
I'm gonna write
360.
that up here. I love that.
Yeah, and then Albert made a good point that it's kind of like powers of 10, that if you take away the zeros, then you can do 4 times blank equals 36.
So kind of along the same lines as Nora,
Yes.
but you know when you take away zeros, what you did was decrease each of these by a power of
Yes.
10, right? Because we don't just take zeros away. Gianna?
I realized that 9 times 4 was 36.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just did 36 divided by 4.
Perfect. Okay. Lots of good ideas. Do you realize how many bags you can donate?
Until we get
No.
to a part that you can't add more.
If he
And then
is
that'll be
putting-
our extra. And we know that we have to focus on the remainder.
Separate?
Yeah. So 30. We're gonna count by
Right away, what do you know? Putting things back. What else?
60, 90, 120,
Okay, what is he splitting up? Oh, is he splitting up?
180.
And what number do I have? 216. So 180.
Okay, so ready? 16.
Where'd you get 160?
And he's splitting them into groups of what?
150.
30.
180.
We're coming up with our expression. So, who would?
As far as we can go. So this would be 6 and 50. So you don't need
Really, we're trying to figure out how many groups of 30 are in 216.
Donate.
What do you think?
On the side, you do
6.
I want you to think back to the activity.
To the right.
What were we counting back? 2 and 7 remainder 6. How in the world could I prove that I know that is my answer? Tanis, you seem like you really want to share.
So first you would do 30 times 7. So you would get 210. And then you would add a 6.
Here's what you told me to do. I'm going to show you. I kind of wrote it. This is what you said. Right? This is what you told me to do?
Yeah.
What was a more efficient way of writing that expression? Would it be this? Or was I able to do it all? Tanish, I'm going to challenge you now. Use your vocabulary. Those 3 vocabulary words we used. Because that way it could